Ladies and gentlemen, OMG. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Let me first apologize. I know I did say I was going to be coming out with my bracket predictions last night. Honestly, I overdosed on salad. I don't even know if that's a thing, but I had like 3 wedges of iceberg lettuce and a bunch of hard-boiled eggs, things like that, and I was just stuffed. I couldn't do it. But guys, we had the selection show last night. Everyone's filling out their brackets. There will be major upsets in my bracket, and just to give you guys a little shot at my resume, if you should trust me, back in my 2019 bracket, my bracket finished in the 98th percentile in ESPN's Tournament Challenge. You can take a look at my bracket. Depressed Ginger 2 is the name of it. We will be filling out every single pick here. And guys, I had Auburn making the Final Four back in 2019, and I had Virginia winning the entire tournament, which obviously both of those things happened. So guys, my resume is impeccable. Let's go. There will be a lot of upsets. It's the year with COVID. It's crazy. We will start with Gonzaga in the West region, taking on either Norfolk State or Appalachian State. Now, guys, when it comes to the first 4, let me say, I think it's very disrespectful of ESPN to not include the first 4 so we can pick either Norfolk State or Appalachian State. That's disrespectful. But I will take Norfolk State over Appalachian State in that first 4 matchup on Thursday. And then, obviously, I have the undefeated Gonzaga Bulldogs advancing into their round of 32. They will defeat Norfolk State. Next, we have the battle of the overrateds. We've got Oklahoma and Missouri. Now, if either of these teams were matched up in a different 8v9 matchup against other teams, I would have them both losing. I think they're both overrated. And I've gone back and forth on this one. Give me Missouri out of the SEC to overcome Oklahoma. Both these teams struggling a little bit. Oklahoma a little bit more towards the end. I know the Big 12 is a good conference, but don't love Oklahoma right now. Guys, this is a reverse psychology pick. Everybody will be picking UCSB over Creighton. Creighton got absolutely destroyed by Georgetown in their tournament championship. Guys, this is reverse psychology. I'm picking Creighton. You go the reverse psychology. Everyone's taking the 12 over the 5 upset with Creighton struggling towards the end of the season. Give me Creighton. Yeah, give me Creighton. We've got Virginia and Ohio. And guys, this is another one. It's a tough one. I'm going Ohio. Virginia, they have no momentum right now. They have the COVID issues. Ohio coming off the Big Mac tournament win. I have them in an upset win over Virginia. Nothing against Virginia at all. It's just the style of play is conducive to upsets. They're a very defensive-minded team, and I really don't think they have, the talent overall. A team like Ohio can overwhelm them. Maybe Ohio gets hot from 3. They're rolling right now. They just won the MAC. Give me the 13 over the 4. Ohio advances. They will be taking on Creighton in the second round of the West region. We've got USC taking on either Wichita State or Drake. Guys, in that first 4 matchup, I have Drake beating Wichita State, and then guys, I actually have Drake advancing over USC. I've never been a big fan of USC. I know they have Evan Mobley, top 5 pick, really good center, Pac-12 player of the year, but let's be real, the Pac-12 is a watered-down conference. If USC was in a different conference, I don't think they're getting a 6 seed. I think they're maybe an 8 or a 9 seed, but they got propped up by a weak conference. Give me Drake over USC. We know Drake started about 22-0. I respect that team. I know they've dealt with some COVID problems. They've dealt with some injuries. But guys, I think Drake gets it done. They move on to the second round. How about Kansas at Eastern Washington? I think Eastern Washington is the worst 14 seed. This is a really good matchup for Kansas. I think it'll be a going-away victory for KU and Bill Self over Eastern Washington. They had those COVID problems, but this is a team they've been playing well towards the end of the year. They get it done against a weak 14 seed Eastern Washington. Oregon taking on Virginia Commonwealth. Guys, one of the things I said about Virginia Commonwealth, it seems like every year they're in the tournament, they're like a 9 or a 10 seed, and they lose in the first round, and I think this year is no different. I've got Oregon advancing, and I actually think Oregon is the best team in the Pac-12. I know they had that pathetic loss to Oregon State in the semifinal. They, revenge that. They get over the hump in this game here over VCU. I'll take them as the 7 seed winning that. We've got Iowa and Grand Canyon. Kind of an interesting little matchup. Iowa struggles heavily on defense, although they've been better towards the end of the year. Luka Garza, we know, probably National Player of the Year. Give me Iowa over Grand Canyon in a 2v15 matchup. Guys, we're on to the East region. We have Michigan taking on Mount St. Mary State or Texas Southern. Now, I actually think Mount St. Mary State will beat Texas Southern in that first 4 matchup. Very important. And then I do have Michigan without Isaiah Livers, obviously a team that's trending down. Many people are going to pick Michigan to get upset as one of the 1 seeds. I have them advancing, obviously, over the 16 seed. We've got LSU taking on St. Bonaventure. Guys, I already know what a lot of people are going to do. They're going to pick LSU to beat St. Bonaventure, and then they're going to pick LSU to beat Michigan, because LSU, they are a dangerous team. They are. Ladies and gentlemen, I have St. Bonaventure knocking off LSU. The 9 seed beats the 8 seed. St. Bonaventure is such a phenomenal tournament Cinderella run type team. I love this team, guys. Watch out for St. Bonaventure. We'll see when they face Michigan coming up in a little bit with my predictions, guys. Watch out. Oh boy, St. Bonaventure beats LSU. High scoring, close game. Really fun game to watch. Colorado and Georgetown. I think many people are going to be picking Georgetown over Colorado. It's almost like Georgetown should be the 5 seed. And guys, I actually have to go with a lot of people on this one. Georgetown, they destroyed Creighton. They won their conference tournament. Colorado trending downward. You know, the advanced analytics really do like Colorado, but give me Georgetown and Patrick Ewing over Colorado. They're trending up right now. Again, it's almost like they should be the 5 seed and Colorado should be the 12. I actually wonder what the spread is on that game. It's probably a very close spread. If Colorado's favored, it's probably about by like 3 points. We've got Florida State, and how about UNC Greensboro? You know, we were talking about UNC Greensboro the past few years, not so much this year. They squeak into the tournament as a 13 seed. That's a solid seed, but guys, I like Florida State here, and I've been tough on Florida State in my bracketology update videos, but this is a talented team, and I like Florida State to hold serve in their first round game against UNC Greensboro. No upset there. They will advance and take on the upstart Georgetown. Moving on, how about BYU taking on, how about this first 4 matchup? Michigan State or UCLA, and I saw the times came out. I'm not sure why they have this game on at like 10 o'clock at night on the first 4. It's the last game in the first 4. It's ridiculous, but Michigan State, UCLA, I have this a close, low-scoring game with Michigan State beating UCLA, so that would mean Michigan State takes on BYU, and I think BYU is just a very tough draw for either of these teams. They are a good basketball team. They were beating Gonzaga. They were beating Gonzaga for a long time in their last game they faced them. So BYU will be advancing on to the second round. They're a very good team, and they do deserve that 6 seed. Many people thinking that 6 seed's a little high for them. They really do deserve that. How about Texas and Abilene Christian? Texas getting that weird late night game I saw. It's about 9:50 start time. I wouldn't like that if I was a Texas fan. Guys, I've been in on Texas from the beginning. They win the Big 12. They're trending up with Shaka Smart right now. Give me Texas over Abilene Christian. A good young 14 seed, but guys, Texas gets it done. No upsets there. It's going to be BYU against Texas. What a matchup that is. How about Yukon and Maryland? Guys, give me Yukon in this one. You know, Maryland's a team, I'm just not seeing it. I'm actually surprised they were included in the field. They are a 10 seed. They're not, it's not even like they're an 11 or a first 4 team, but I really don't think Maryland's very good at all. And Yukon actually has crazy good advanced metrics. You look at the T rank, I think they're ranked 10th overall, which is crazy. Again, it's not the end all be all, but it's very interesting to see Yukon ranked that high. They've had some big wins towards the end of the season. Guys, they will be taking on Iona. I have Iona, and no, I'm not kidding. I have Rick Pitino getting the upset over Alabama. I've said this throughout my entire bracketology videos. Alabama, what I'm banking on is Alabama missing 3s. And I think they will, guys. Alabama, well, it's just Alabama, all they do is shoot 3s. That's it. All they do is shoot 3s. I don't like the SEC. I think the SEC is vastly overrated. I have Iona upsetting Alabama in the 15v2 game. They will be taking on Yukon in the second round, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you're going to do March Madness, if you want to pick 4 1 seeds and you want to go by the book, go look at Jay Billis's bracket, folks. That's not what March Madness is. You got to pick upsets. You got to know where to pick them. That's one. Iona over Alabama. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, on Monday morning. How about Baylor and Hartford? I'm not a fan of Hartford. They knocked off UMass Lowell. That was disappointing to me, so I am taking Baylor. You know, a lot of people a little concerned with Baylor, the way they played. You know, the Big 12 is a tough conference. You're going to drop some games. I think Gonzaga. Again, guys, if Gonzaga was in a different conference, they would have losses. The difference is they're facing Pepperdine and not West Virginia. You know, Gonzaga's had several games where they haven't played very well, but that's not to say I think Gonzaga is the most talented a team in college basketball. I want to say that. But Gonzaga's had games where they just haven't played well. They play in such a weak conference to where, even if you're playing bad, you can still beat a team like Pepperdine. It wouldn't happen against in a better conference. They would have 2 or 3 losses if they were in the Big Ten. Moving on, North Carolina and Wisconsin. This is a game where I think Wisconsin is the better team, but North Carolina is just simply playing better right now. Give me North Carolina over Wisconsin in the 8v9 matchup. Moving on to Villanova and Winthrop. This is another one. Many people are going to be picking Winthrop. I am as well. Villanova's limping into the March Madness tournament. Winthrop, 1 loss. They're 24-1. I would love to see Winthrop. Kind of a Cinderella story, 12v5. This is another one that's going to be very popular for people to pick. Winthrop over Villanova. We have Purdue taking on North Texas. You know what? I'm going to take Purdue in this one. And this is another one. You got to be wary of the upset if you are Purdue. But with Williams and Ivy, Purdue has a lot of firepower. They're coming from the Big Ten. We'll see how well they can represent the conference. They get a 4 seed with all those losses due to the Big Ten and how strong it is. North Texas, an upstart young team. Very interesting game there. Purdue in a close one. It's going to be a close game, high-scoring game. But give me Purdue. We've got Texas Tech and Utah State. I've gone back and forth on this game. But guys, I am going to take Texas Tech, the 6 seed, beating the 11 seed Utah State. I just think Texas Tech is a better team. They played in a tough conference. Let's not overreact to losses. You play in the Big 12. You're gonna have losses. You face Oklahoma State. You face West Virginia. You face Baylor. You're gonna lose to some of these teams, guys. The bottom line is Texas Tech is a good team, and Utah State, many people thought they would probably be, in the first 4. They get in as an 11 seed. They're a solid team. This is one that it's kind of like a toss-up, but give me Texas Tech. I am confident in Texas Tech. Next, we have Arkansas and Colgate. And guys, when I saw this come out, the second I saw this come out, yes, I am picking Colgate. So there's a few things with this game. Number 1, Arkansas should not be a 3 seed. They're very overrated. The entire SEC is overrated. Number 2, this is a terrible draw for Arkansas. I thought Colgate at worst should have been a 13 seed, probably should have been a 12 seed. You look at their net ratings, it's absurd. Again, the net's not the end-all be-all. It's based on margin of victory. I know that. They're coming from the Patriot League. But guys, Colgate can score. And Colgate gets up on Arkansas. Arkansas is already an overrated 3 seed. It's the perfect 14v3 upset. Colgate moves on to the round of 32. Next, we have Florida and Virginia Tech. Florida just simply isn't playing good basketball right now, and Virginia Tech, not really good either. Guys, this is a phenomenal draw for Ohio State. I'm going to be honest with you. This really is. Give me Virginia Tech over Florida. Neither of these teams are playing very well right now, though. Neither of them are. Florida's lost their last 3 of 4. Virginia Tech's kind of been... They were ranked earlier in the year. They've kind of been The ACC's a watered-down conference. It's not great this year with Duke and UNC not being good. But give me Virginia Tech over Florida in a close one. Ohio State and Oral Roberts. I was surprised Oral Roberts was a 15 seed and not a 16 seed. But guys, Ohio State will beat Oral Roberts in the 2v15 matchup. They will be taking on Virginia Tech in the second round. Moving on to the Midwest, we have Illinois, the 1 seed, taking on Drexel. The 16 seed, guys. Illinois is going to be a very trendy pick to actually win the entire tournament. They are very hot right now. They have 2 superstars, and they won the Big Ten. How about Ohio State? I was impressed with the fight Ohio State put up in the Big Ten championship game. They were down by a lot. They came back and went to overtime. But Illinois, too much to handle, too much firepower, too talented. They win the Big Ten. They are trending up. They're probably the best team right now in the Big Ten with the Livers injury on Michigan. Moving on, Loyola Chicago taking on Georgia Tech. I'm guessing 70 or 80% of people will be picking Loyola Chicago over Georgia Tech, which is a lot considering it's an 8v9 matchup, meaning it's a toss-up. Guys, give me Georgia Tech in this game. Loyola Chicago, everyone remembers them. They're this little Cinderella team. They're ranked so high on KenPom. Nope. Give me Georgia Tech. I've been in on Georgia Tech from the beginning. They win their conference tournament. They're looking good. They were disrespected being given a 9 seed. I thought they should have gotten probably a 7 seed. You want to know another team I was surprised? I forgot to mention this. Wisconsin got a 9 seed. I thought they would have been at worst an 8, probably a 7. That's a tough draw for them, getting UNC being a 9 seed in the first round. And I saw this, Tennessee and Oregon State. I was so ready to have Tennessee lose in the first round. And then I saw they get Oregon State, dude. I have to pick Tennessee. So the thing with Oregon State, they won the Pac-12. That's the only reason they're in the tournament. But to me, they're not this team that has all this momentum. I'm not feeling it right now with Oregon State. The vibe isn't there with Oregon State for them to make a Cinderella run. It's not there. Give me Tennessee. They're a defensive-minded team. They don't score a lot. It might be a close game, but Guys, I'll be honest with you. I think Tennessee blows out Oregon State. I don't even like Tennessee. Nothing against Oregon State. I'm just not feeling the vibe. I'm not feeling. You can feel something, guys. It's a feel. There's something in the air. It's not happening with Oregon State. It's not happening. We've got Oklahoma State and Liberty, and people are going to kill me for this. I'm taking Liberty in this game. Oklahoma State's just such a young team. Liberty just needs to keep this game close, keep it high scoring, and I think Oklahoma State will fold under the pressure. Personally, give me Liberty. Again, this is a lower seed playing with house money. This is a team that I believe was 22-4. Oklahoma State, I have never liked Oklahoma State. They did make a really good run in the Big 12 tournament. I'll give them props for that. Cade Cunningham, phenomenal. But again, you go through my bracketology videos, I have never liked Oklahoma State. I've never believed in them. They're just so young, and I have Liberty upsetting Oklahoma State. It seems like such a ripe picking for an upset, the 13 over the 4 there. San Diego State taking on Syracuse. This is a great draw for San Diego State. I think Syracuse is a very weak team, and I think San Diego State's a really good 6 seed, by the way. Really good 6 seed. I also think BYU's a good 6 seed. You're taking a look at them over here. The difference here. So San Diego State decent by a decent margin over Syracuse. I do not see Syracuse getting out of the first round. West Virginia and Morehead State. Funny story with Morehead State. I followed Morehead State throughout the season because Ohio State faced them early in the season. I wanted to see how Morehead State would do. Morehead State won a bunch of close games, okay? Like, I know they're an interesting little team, but I have to take West Virginia, and I'm not even that high on West Virginia. I think West Virginia as a 3 seed, maybe a little overrated, but I'll take West Virginia over Morehead State. The analytics back it up significantly. Clemson and Rutgers. Really, I just do not like Clemson at all. Clemson, they don't score. I know they play good defense, whatever. Give me Rutgers. Rutgers, they got banged around in a very tough Big Ten conference. If the Big Ten was down a little bit more, I think Rutgers would be a 22, maybe 20 win team. Maybe 22 is a little too much. Maybe around a 20 win team on a full schedule. But they got the number 10 seed. They get banged around by Ohio State. They get banged around by teams like Michigan, Illinois. It's a tough conference, so they get the 10 seed. But over Clemson, Clemson is not playing well. And I'm actually very surprised Clemson wasn't put in an 8v9 matchup. Either way, they get the 7 seed, and I have Rutgers advancing to the second round. Next, we have Houston taking on Cleveland State, the last prediction of the first round, 2v15. Cleveland State, kind of an upstart young team. They won the Horizon. Good for them. Give me Houston. Houston looked very good in the American tournament. You take a look at what they did to Cincinnati, who had a little bit of a run going there by themselves. They annihilated them. I know Houston, they've kind of struggled towards down the stretch, but they put an exclamation point on their season with that annihilation of Cincinnati. Get some momentum back. They will be moving on to the second round. They beat Cleveland State. Guys, we are on to the round of 32. Winners will be into the Sweet 16. We have Gonzaga taking on Missouri. And guys, not much to say here. I have Gonzaga over Missouri. I think Gonzaga basically has a bye to the Sweet 16. Both of these teams I view as overrated. If you're Gonzaga, I would probably rather face Oklahoma than Missouri, but they're so evenly matched. I don't even know. Gonzaga over Missouri. Gonzaga, the first team into the Sweet 16. Next, we have Creighton taking on Ohio. And guys, I actually have Creighton. I thought about it for a while. Maybe I go Ohio into the Sweet 16. Give me Creighton. Again, it's a reverse psychology thing. They're playing bad right now. I actually wasn't even high on Creighton, but it's due to their draw. It's due to everyone saying they're going to lose to the 12 seed. You know, they get a 13 seed in Ohio with Virginia losing. Does Ohio make a Cinderella run? I don't think so. That sets a 1v5 Gonzaga-Creighton matchup in the Sweet 16. Next, we have Drake taking on Kansas. And guys, I'm going Kansas here over Drake. I think it'll be a close game. But Kansas, they're a team, last year with the tournament getting canceled, they were the number 1 overall seed. They're going to be ready to go. They had the coronavirus problems. They're rested. They're ready. And they get Drake in the second round after Drake defeated USC. They will move on to the Sweet 16. Next, we have Oregon taking on Iowa. And guys, I do have Oregon upsetting Iowa. I just think the defense is too lacking for Iowa. I saw their game against Illinois this weekend. I know Illinois is a good team, but it just felt like Iowa had zero chance to win that game throughout the entire game. I know it was kind of close. It was like an 8-point, 10-point game. Most of the time it was, single digits, so it was close. But Iowa's defense, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. Luka Garza is not a good defender. He's going to put up points. He'll put up his 23 and 9. Actually, he doesn't even get that many rebounds. Nothing against Luka Garza, but I'm just saying. So I have Oregon advancing. Oregon's definitely an interesting team. I know they lost to Oregon State in their conference tournament, but I just like Oregon right now. I'm feeling them. We have Michigan taking on St. Bonaventure in the East, and guys, make fun of me all you want. I have St. Bonaventure advancing. And with Michigan, I'm not seeing any sort of confidence coming from their fan base. I see their fan base trying to talk about how, oh, they trust their team, they believe in their team. It just seems so fake to me. Michigan has just hit a bit of a wall at the worst time. The Livers injury doesn't help at all. And St. Bonaventure is an upstart young team. Again, this is a perfect Cinderella type team. The 9 seed, surprising enough, advances to the Sweet 16. Guys, they will be taking on Florida State over Georgetown. I think that's going to be a great game. Georgetown, if they do get into that game, is going to have phenomenal confidence going into that. But that will set up a very interesting St. Bonaventure versus Florida State matchup in the Sweet 16. Next, we have BYU taking on Texas. This is perhaps the best round of 32 matchup, at least I think it is. Two phenomenal teams. I have Texas advancing into the Sweet 16. The Longhorns and Shaka Smart get into the Sweet 16. I don't know the last time they've been there. They advance. Next matchup, we have Yukon taking on Iona. Iona and Rick Pitino, after defeating Alabama with their big upset. I have Yukon advancing into the Sweet 16. They get back into it. Iona, you think maybe a Cinderella run. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Iona will beat Alabama and then lose to Yukon. Let's take a look at the right side of the bracket. We are in the South region. We have Baylor taking on North Carolina. Guys, give me Baylor to beat North Carolina in a surprisingly close game. I think Baylor's going to have several close games this tournament, but I do have them beating the 8-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels. That will set up a game with Winthrop or Purdue. And guys, I will take Winthrop to beat Purdue and advance. A little bit of an upset there. The 12 over the 4. Winthrop 24-1. They will be advancing to the Sweet 16. We have Texas taking on Texas Tech taking on Colgate. And ladies and gentlemen, I do have Colgate advancing into the Sweet 16. Colgate, the phenomenal sharpshooting team out of the Patriot League, very high scoring team. They will be beating Texas Tech in an upset. They will be taking on Ohio State. Ohio State getting a phenomenal draw. Taking with the Virginia Tech game. I'm not seeing much out of Virginia Tech or Florida, whoever wins that game. Ohio State, E.J. Liddell, Kyle Young, we'll see if he's back. Chris Holtmann leading the charge. The Buckeyes back into the Sweet 16 for the first time in about 5 years. Moving on to the Midwest, we have Illinois taking on Georgia Tech. This is a tough draw for Illinois. I know many people are saying Loyola Chicago is a tough second-round draw for Illinois. No, Georgia Tech is a tough second-round draw for Illinois. This is going to be a close game, but Illinois will hold serve as the 1 seed. They will be advancing into the Sweet 16. We've got Tennessee taking on Liberty. And ladies and gentlemen, I have Liberty moving on. Kind of an upset there. The 13 over the 5. Liberty, after defeating Oklahoma State, they will beat Tennessee. Tennessee, a team I really don't like. They got the lucky draw with Oregon State, but they will not. Their luck will run out. They will be losing to Liberty. In our next matchup, we have San Diego State taking on West Virginia. Give me San Diego State, the Aztecs out of the West Coast. They will beat West Virginia in a very close competitive basketball game. They will be moving on to the Sweet 16, and they will be taking on Houston, who will beat Rutgers. And I think that'll be a blowout, to be completely honest with you. They will be moving on to the Sweet 16. Guys, we've reached our Sweet 16 games. We have Gonzaga taking on Creighton. And guys, give me Zaga over the University of Creighton. Creighton's run, and the Blue Jays lose to Gonzaga. They end their run in the Sweet 16. Gonzaga into the Elite Eight. They will take on Kansas in a 1v3 matchup in the West region. It'll be Gonzaga against Kansas in the Elite Eight. Let's move on down to the East region. We have St. Bonaventure taking on Florida State. And ladies and gentlemen, I have St. Bonaventure moving on to the Elite Eight. They will defeat Florida State in a phenomenal Sweet 16 game. St. Bonaventure, I love this region for them. The Michigan game is going to be tough, but they get Florida State, and I've never been a big believer in Florida State. I have Florida State as a Sweet 16 and done team. That will put St. Bonaventure kind of as a underdog, into this Elite Eight. They will take on Texas. Texas making the Elite Eight, let that pick go through. That will set up a St. Bonaventure-Texas matchup there in the Elite Eight. Very interesting stuff. Both the 1 seeds and the 2 seeds are out in the East. I know a lot of people are going to be picking Michigan to lose early on. Nothing against Michigan. They're sputtering at the wrong time right now, guys. They're sputtering at the wrong time. Moving on, we have Baylor taking on Winthrop. And guys, in this one, I have Baylor ending Winthrop's run as the 1 seed, beating Winthrop. That would only be the second loss for Winthrop. What a run it would be if they did make the Sweet 16. Baylor, the number 2 overall seed, second number 1 seed into the Elite Eight. They will be taking on Ohio State, the number 2 overall seed out of the South region, the Buckeyes of Ohio State. They beat the upstart Colgate. And obviously out of the Patriot League, it will be Baylor taking on Ohio State. That is a 1v2 matchup. Moving on down to the Midwest, we have Illinois taking on Liberty. And ladies and gentlemen, in this one, I have Illinois advancing, the number 1 seeded Illinois Fighting Illini. Beat Liberty, the Big Ten champions. They will be moving on, and they will be taking on San Diego State, the number 6 overall seed. We know the Aztecs had their tournament chances cut short last year due to COVID. They come back. They get in to the Elite Eight. That will set up some crazy matchups, ladies and gentlemen. We have Gonzaga taking on Kansas in kind of an old school matchup. Give me Zaga to reach the Final Four, the first team into the Final Four bracket. Gonzaga wins the rest. They are still undefeated going into the Final Four. Guys, they will be taking on Texas. Texas will defeat St. Bonaventure. They will advance to the Final Four in a 1v3 matchup with Gonzaga in Indianapolis. Let's move into the Baylor-Ohio State game. Guys, I have the University of Baylor advancing, the number 1 seeded Baylor Bears over Ohio State. They've been such a consistent team all year. I know they had that little COVID thing. They've come back. They've struggled a little bit. You play in the Big 12, you're going to lose some games, ladies and gentlemen. I have Baylor as a Final Four team taking on Illinois or San Diego State. Who's it going to be? I have the Aztecs of San Diego State upsetting Illinois as the 6th seed, advancing on to the Final Four. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you want all the number 1 seeds in the Final Four, go look at Jay Bayless's bracket. Go look at Seth Davis' bracket. Guys, it's March Madness. This is what we're talking about. This is what it is. We have a Final Four matchup of Gonzaga taking on Texas. And ladies and gentlemen, I have Gonzaga advancing to the national championship game. They will be taking on Baylor University, and it is a 1v1 matchup in the national championship. And guys, I think it is destiny. I will say this about Gonzaga. If they played in another conference, they would not be undefeated. They are the most talented team in college basketball, I'll say that. But if they played in another conference, they've had some games where they haven't played well. They're playing bad teams. They're able to come back. I will take Gonzaga to win the national championship and go undefeated. And guys, we have to pick the final score. We know Gonzaga is a high-scoring team. I'm liking like 83-74 as the final score in the national championship. Gonzaga wins the national title over Baylor. You take a look at the Final Four. It is Gonzaga, Texas, Baylor, and San Diego State after beating Illinois. Guys, this is my final bracket. You can see some major upsets. St. Bonaventure into the Elite Eight, I believe. How about Liberty? Or into the Sweet 16. Same thing with Liberty. St. Bonaventure makes the Elite Eight. San Diego State to the Final Four. Oregon upsetting Iowa. Some great upset picks. And guys, when you make brackets, I'll give you one. If there's one lesson I can give you, it's this. You can't be scared to pick the upset, ladies and gentlemen, because they happen more than you think. Don't always go with the 1 seeds. I do have the 1 seeds in the final. But guys, I'm telling you, the upsets that are going to be happening with Colgate, watch out for them. St. Bonaventure, I know a lot of people are going to be picking LSU. Guys, this is epic. I am going to break down every first round game next. But guys, the final score, 83-74, Gonzaga over Baylor, the 2 teams that I view as the best. Again, they could lose 100%. Gonzaga has a really, I believe, easy region when you look at their run. You got a Missouri team, you've got a Creighton team. Kansas is good, but Gonzaga is more talented. They're just simply more talented, and then they go on to face a very good Texas team. But I have Gonzaga in the end winning and taking on Baylor, 2 1 seeds, with Gonzaga winning 83-74. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for my bracket predictions. Let's kick this off, starting with the first 4 on Thursday. You can follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I am, of course, let me submit this. I am, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.